Welcome back to AskFans TV. Today, I am pleased to announce I am here with the one and only legendary, four-time Premier League winning Gary Pallister. How's it going?
Oh, good, mate.
Good. Listen, you have no idea how long I've been waiting for a fellow Manchester United man to step into the arena.
I'm not. Surely I'm not the first on this one.
Oh, listen, you are.
Yeah?
You are, yeah. You've christened.
Can't believe you've been a Man United fan. You've not got more Man United players on here.
Do you understand what I'm saying? I mean, what's going on? You know what I mean? You've christened the Chesterfield now. You know what I mean?
Cool, man.
I'm glad to have you. How's it going?
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
A little bit irate today because my train was late. An hour late coming out of Yarm, so I'm here eventually, and I'm pleased to meet you.
Oh man, pleased to meet you too. Well, let's get cracking where everybody wants us to start. Obviously, the great and glorious announcement of Alexis Sanchez. He's now a Manchester United player. Happy?
Absolutely buzzing. I'm still down there every match day. So I think to see somebody like Sanchez come into your club is great news for every Manchester United fan. It was something I didn't think would happen. I know the rumours were out there right from the beginning of the transfer window, but it looked as though to me it was a done deal with Manchester City. So to nick him off them is a great coup for United, because I think you've got a world class striker there.
Absolutely. I guess we were talking a little bit briefly off air, but about where he fits in. Where do you think he fits in to the squad?
He can play all across the front line, can't he? He can play on the right. He's obviously been more successful on the left, but he can also play up front. So could he play a two up front with Lukaku and Sanchez? You never know. But I don't know. I'm guessing, looking at it, maybe Juan Mata's more under threat than anybody else. But I like Juan Mata as well. I think he's a fantastic football, great imagination. To get them two linked up would be great as well. So, listen, he's got different permutations. I'm just pleased that he's there, because he is going to add a different dimension to Manchester United. Without
a shadow of a doubt. Obviously, there's been massive talks about the massive wages, anything from 300k a week to £500,000 a week.
Depends which paper you read.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. There's word on the street is that most of them are getting fed these stories by the blue side of Manchester. But if it is in those insatiable figures, would it cause any issues in the squad? Did money ever cause issues in the squad when you were playing?
No, not really. I think you're always had an idea what players were getting when they did come to the club, even though you're never 100% sure. But I look back at my time, and I think a lot of players that I played with knew they could have got more money going elsewhere in the top flight, but you got the chance of playing for Manchester United, and that was the difference. I think everybody that I played alongside appreciated that and knew there was no better place to really go and play your football. Obviously, things have changed a little bit since then. Chelsea have come in with the buying power. Manchester City have come in with the buying power as well. So the goalposts have changed a little bit, but if clubs can afford to pay these astronomical figures, then the players deserve it, because they're the artists, they're the people that the fans come to watch, and as long as it's not putting the club's health at risk, then I think these guys deserve every penny that they get.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. I had a conversation with a couple of people a little while ago, and I said that, listen, if a rich man wants to buy a Bentley, let him buy a Bentley. Do you understand what I'm saying? Manchester United have got the money to afford what they're buying. So in terms
of a Bugatti.
Yeah, exactly. They bought a Bugatti, and it's like, if they can afford a Bugatti, let them get the Bugatti. What's somebody else going to have to say about somebody? It's not like Manchester United are buying it on finance. They've, as has been announced, they're the richest club in the world again. Yeah. So they've got what it takes to be able to pay these kind of figures. Obviously, Mkhitaryan has gone the other way. What do you think about that? Is loss for United?
No, listen, I think Mickey's an amazing technical player. I think he's enjoyed his better successes come in Europe, I think. I think at times the hurly-burly, the Premiership, the pace of the Premiership sometimes catches up with Mickey a little bit. Yeah. So I think he's found it a struggle this year. So I'm pleased that I think he's got the move that he wanted.
Yeah.
But listen, I think it's a no-brainer to swap Mickey for Sanchez is a wonderful piece of business, and I think we've got the better deal.
Without a shadow of a doubt, I'll say, Sanchez said he's always wanted to play for Manchester United. I know a lot of players say that when they move to a club. Oh, listen, it's a dream come true. I've always wanted to play for this club, and a lot of City fans are saying, yeah, of course. But nobody grows up thinking, I want to play for Man City. Like, nobody... Come on.
It might change a little bit now with all the money that they've got and what they can throw at it. And listen, Manchester City are playing the best football in the Premiership. I mean, it's hard for me to say as a United fan and player, but you've got to admire the way they play the game. It has been fantastic. They've produced some great performances this year. And it must have been, as I say, it must have been very tempting for Sanchez. He's worked with Pep Guardiola before at Barcelona. As I said, it seemed to be a done deal.
Yeah.
But the pull of Manchester United is still working its magic.
The allure, the absolute allure. Moving on to that, he also touched on the fact that working with Mourinho was also a reason as to why he wanted to join Manchester United. Are you a fan of Jose?
Yeah, listen, he's coming in and we're playing better football than we were in the previous years. I think we've struggled, since Sir Alex left. The football wasn't great under David Moyes, and it wasn't great under Louis van Gaal. So it has got better. I think we can still get better. I think, as I've just alluded to there, I think Alexis Sanchez coming into the side gives us a different dimension, much the same as Cantona did back in 1992. We had, we used to say we had a great Formula 1 car, we just didn't have the driver.
Yeah.
And Eric became the driver of that car. And I think the same could maybe happen with Sanchez, because he's a really dynamic player. He's got a little bit of an edge to him as well, which I like to see. And I think he could maybe change the way that Manchester United approach games. Absolutely.
Just touching again on Jose. Obviously, he's got a long-term contract on the way. Supposedly, a lot of people thought it was going to be announced alongside the Sanchez deal. What's your thoughts on that? Because usually people say he's a 3-season manager. That he doesn't stay at a club long. Stayed in a hotel.
Jose maybe caught a lot of this stuff off the pitch himself. You know what I mean? And he's always seems to be at loggerheads with the press. But he's came in and done a job. Last year we won 2 trophies, 3 if you count the Charity Shield. if you count on that. And that's what the club needed. We needed to re-establish ourselves as a team that can win trophies. I mean, obviously, if you're looking at the way we finished in the league, wasn't great. We've improved on that. So it's a work in progress. We're getting better and better. Keep alluding back to the Sanchez thing. I think that's another major step. And Manchester United, slowly but surely, is finding his way, hopefully, to be back top of the tree.
I'm glad to hear that. Now, obviously, legendary centre back. You know what I mean? Manchester United have had a consistent, to a certain degree, English pairing of centre-backs, Jones and Smalling, when they're both fit at the same time. What's your thoughts on them two?
Well, they've both had the problems at Manchester United. They both came in and did fantastic well in the early part of the career. Certainly Phil came in, I think he was 19, 20 or something like that, and hit the ground running, looked fantastic. Absolutely. He then kind of got moved to centre midfield, which I don't think was his real position. Then got moved out to right back, then got injuries, then maybe a little bit of form, loss of form, crisis of confidence. And then, he's taken a bit of flack. And maybe at the start of, maybe halfway through last season, people might have been looking at that and think maybe Phil Jones is on his way out of Manchester United, because Jose had asked a few questions of him as well.
Oh, yeah.
And the pressure was on him. But I think, this year he's certainly one of our most consistent players, probably alongside Ashley Young.
Absolutely.
And he's been absolutely magnificent. Smalling exactly the same, came in as a centre-back, hit the ground running, did really well. Then got moved to right-back, because we had the Ferdinand-Vidic partnership then. And I think that took its toll on Chris as well a little bit, because he was coming. I mean, he wasn't that long out of non-league football really, so he was still learning, still kind of doing an apprenticeship in a way.
Yeah.
So I think that affected him, affected his confidence. I think we're seeing him come back to his very, very best now, and all of a sudden we've got Smalling and Jones back at the two centre halves. So it's great to watch them progress and capture that form that they did have before. Obviously, you've got an injury to Bailly, which I'm not sure how long he's going to be out with for. But I like what I've seen of him. I think he's been a very strong defender, a guy that just loves to defend. Maybe not the best with the ball at his feet, but just loves to defend. So I think we're pretty solid in the centre back areas.
Absolutely. This weekend, obviously, Liverpool spent last weekend beating City, and then ended up losing to. Some would say relegation for the Swansea.
Well, you didn't see that one, Corey. Listen, I mean, I watched that game last week, the Liverpool-Manchester City game, and for any connoisseur of football, it was fantastic to watch. So you're thinking, have Liverpool really turned a corner here? They're going to have that consistency to maybe, get better. And then they go and do what they've done for quite a while now, and go and lose to a team you don't expect to. So yeah, you can't argue with the way that Swansea did it. I thought they defended really well. They had a game plan, and they rode the luck a little bit. They certainly could have conceded in the last 5 minutes of the game, which should have been heartbreaking for them and the fans. But they've got a result, and it's another case of Liverpool hitting them heights and then going back down to the depths again.
Yeah, I saw a couple pictures, a couple memes today saying Jurgen Klopp's modern day Robin Hood. Takes points from the rich.
Gives to the poor. I've seen that one. Yeah, somebody texted me that earlier on. But I mean, listen, we've lost to Huddersfield, which nobody saw coming. Absolutely. I mean, they're in a real dire run of form themselves. Huddersfield, I think we possibly the last team that they beat. So it can happen. I think that's one of the great things about the Premier League, isn't it? You can go to places like that and get beaten. You don't maybe see it so much in Germany and Spain, but over here in the Premiership, it can happen quite often.
Absolutely. Do you still enjoy watching Liverpool lose?
That's terrible. I'm going to sit on a fence. No, listen. I was probably actually cheering for Liverpool to beat Man City last week. You know what I mean? Which is very unusual for me to cheer Liverpool on. But
in all honesty.
Yeah, listen. The Liverpool thing. I had some great times away with England with some of the Liverpool lads, John Barnes and Steve McManaman and people like that. They're great guys, and that the rivalry is built sometimes to be a hatred, and when you put them shirts on, it probably is. But some great guys played for Liverpool.
Absolutely, that was a nice bob and weave there. Nice bob and weave, but we all know you still enjoy it.
There's no better game than playing Liverpool. Man United, and the Liverpool lads will tell you that Man United-Liverpool game is brilliant, and I'm sure that's the one the players still look for. That's the one we always look for when the fixture list came out. To play at Anfield or play at home against Liverpool, knowing what it meant to the supporters, knowing the two most successful clubs in the country. Yeah. When you go head to head, it means something, and those days you really miss.
Absolutely. Going to Borough, they've got Tony Pulis in. Would they go up, do you think?
I think they've got a better chance of going up now. I think we were struggling before we brought Tony in. We've just come back out the Premier League, and Steve Gibson spent a lot of money and brought a lot of new players in to give us that push to go straight back up, and it really wasn't happening. So I think it was touch and go whether we would have made the playoffs, really even. I think Tony Pulis has come in, and I think we've seen an impact straight away from him. I mean, he's obviously experienced, he's been through the mill, he knows what it takes to create teams, and I think you can see a difference in the Borough side already. They're playing with a lot more confidence. I seen that. I was at the Riverside the other week when they got beat. I'm trying to think who they got beat off now. They got beat 1-0 in his first home league game. And but yet you could see a direction in the team. They could see they deserved to win the game. They shouldn't have even lost the game. They've then gone away to QPR and got a great victory. And I'm really confident we'll get in the playoffs. As for an automatic place, I think we're 9 or 10 points behind second place. We've got to put a real run together to get ourselves in contention for that. But I like what I see. He's getting the best out of Adama Traore, which I don't know if you've seen much of him, but the kid has got an unbelievable talent. I think his game management at times is something that needs work on, shall we say? But as a threat, I mean, this guy could walk into a Premier League team and not look out of place. He can destroy players. It's just getting his game management right.
Absolutely. Finally, we are now looking towards the World Cup. I mean, Russia 2018. England at the World Cup. How do you think we're going to do?
That's a difficult one to answer right now. Sorry. I don't know. I mean, we've got players that can make a difference. We've got players that, you know, if everything went right for this team, they could make a real impact on the World Cup. But you're never quite sure. We're going in under the radar this time. I don't think there's any expectation on this England team at the moment. You know, Gareth's pretty new to the job. We've had some decent results, some decent performances. We've had some bad performances. So I don't know. It's probably helpful to us to go under the radar, I think, without that expectation, because I think players will feel a lot more comfortable with that. We haven't got this golden generation that we seem to talk about at every World Cup, and you know, there's nobody expecting England to win it. So I expect us to get out the group stages, and then after that, with a bit of luck, who knows?
Who knows? All right, well, Gary, that's the end of the interview, man. Listen, you've been absolutely awesome. Like I said, it's what I've been personally looking forward to for a very, very long time. And it's good to have you. Thanks.
Cheers, my man.
Thank you.